Today is a great day to own a home in the Villages. I'm here to help you do just that. I'm Gary McAdams with Barbara Anderson Realty, the Villages Realtor. One question I get asked a lot as a realtor is people will ask me to explain the bond to them. Everyone who has a house in the village or has looked at a house in the Villages has heard each house has a bond, but no one has ever really explained to you what it is. I get asked, what is this bond? How much is this bond? What is the money used for? Why do I pay it? How do I pay it? Where do I pay it? You hear so many different conflicting stories as I've heard myself, so I wanted to get it right direct from the Village's development office. I called, I spent about a half hour on the phone with the person who administers the bonds and is in charge of setting them up. What the bond is it's a bond placed on the individual lot of land as soon as someone buys the land and goes under contract to have a home built on it. It's used to pay for the infrastructure of the new villages or new developments, the roads, the grass in the common areas, those beautiful trees and flowers that we all love so much when we drive through the villages, the guard shacks, the gate arms, the pools, the common areas, the restrooms at the rec centers, just all of the infrastructure of the villages. The bond will vary a little bit by area. What it is if an area has more infrastructure, it's more densely populated, has more common areas, has more medians in between the road, it's a 2-lane road with a grass buffer in the middle, more guard shacks, they're going to need more money, so their bond will be a little bit higher. If it's an area with more spread out houses and they don't have as much common area, it will be a little bit lower. The person at the Villages told me that a pretty good rule is they're about $20,000. She looked at her schedule right now, and the lowest one she could find for a house under contract right now is $16,000. The highest one she could find for a house under contract right now was $23,000. One misconception people have a lot is they think that the bond will go up with the price of your house. $1 million house would have a higher bond than a $300,000 villa. That is incorrect. A lot of times the $1 million houses will actually have less of a bond because they're on bigger lots, bigger houses. So in the bigger lots, they take up more of the area. There's less infrastructure. They don't need as big of a postal station because they don't have as many houses. They don't have as many common area roads because the lots are bigger and they take up a lot more of the property. Another misconception a lot of people hear is they're told that they cannot pay the bond off in full with the purchase of the house. That I've heard one person say the Villages makes you amortize it because then they get interest. It's like a double payday. That's not true. The Villages isn't the one who holds the loan on the bond. It's held through a bank, amortized just like a mortgage loan or just like an automobile loan, and the bank gets the interest. So the Villages doesn't mind. You can pay it off when you buy the house. She actually told me a lot of people will do that. They will want the price of the bond built right into their house when they buy it. Then that way they close free and clear and they own everything. They have nothing at all left to pay. A lot of the houses in the resale houses, you'll see two like-type houses across the street from each other, and one will have a bond of $15,000, the other will have a bond of $12,000 left. That's because some of the people have paid off more than the other ones. You have your amortized fee, but just like an amortized mortgage or an amortized car loan, if you have some extra money one month, you can put $1,000 towards your principal, and then that makes it go down. The houses in the newer developments over in the south section of the Villages, you'll hear it called south of 44 a lot. If you buy a resale house over there, they're probably going to have a higher bond because the houses are only 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 years old. So that's how long they've been paid on. And with any amortized loan, the first couple of years, the majority of your payment is interest. If you buy a house over where I live in the village of Chatham, most of the houses here are 20 plus years old. The majority of them, the bond has been paid off in full, or if you do have a bond at all, it's going to be relatively low because the current owner or past owners, if it's been sold a few times, have been paying the amortization for 20 years. So over here, the bonds are a lot lower in most cases. Some people will refinance the bonds if they get a better interest rate, and the village has told me they are very happy to help people do that any way they can. So that's a quick lowdown explaining what exactly the bond is. I hope you got some good information out of that and you understand the bond a little bit better. If you have any further questions, leave a comment in the comment section below in the video. If I don't know the answer, I will call and find out for you. I do my best to know everything, but nobody knows everything. I'm certainly willing to do your homework and find out for you. If you want to look at homes in the villages, give me a call, 352-809-8723. I'm Gary McAdams with Barbara Anderson Realty, the Village's Realtor.